into the time pattern. Opening, body, and conclusion. And then it's the good point. Here is the good point, and here is the suggestion. Does it have? And why do I write it in the time pattern? Because it is easier for you to review the content of the speech. If you forget some part of the speech the speaker has just said, you can just go through your note and you can, oh yeah, here he talked about this. And you separate the good points and suggestions, and this one we'll talk about it later because you will first talk about the good points and then you go into the suggestion. And you can notice that I link the good points with the suggestions if needed. Like, this is Martin's speech. And I write here is the good point. When Martin forgot his line on stage, he said, "Let me count down." This is a good point because he counted down on stage and he quickly remembered what he has to say. And I link to the suggestion. What is the suggestion? What can you do when you forget the line? You can remember the bullet point, remember the specific words. So I link it to how to memorize your script. So when I'm on stage and I'm reading my notes, I can easily see that I should talk about this first and point to the part where Martin forget his line and then go to the suggestion. I just read from up to down my notes and my evaluation is done. And this is my personal style, and you may take it as an advice, but you will eventually develop your own one. Okay, few things to know. Evaluation is a mini speech, so you have to contain opening, body, and conclusion. Although it is short, it also has to be a complete speech. And you should include both good points and suggestion. In TN, we have some specific usage. We call the good point kiss, and we call the suggestion kick. Okay, so you kiss and then you kick. The kiss and kick are both indispensable, 缺一不可. Because if you only talk about the good points, it will sound a little bit like flattering. And if you only talk about all the improvement and problems, it is really discouraging. And if she or she does it really, really bad. Yeah. So those are needed. And the ways of doing evaluation are not limited. The following content are the guidelines for you to start. And hopefully you will eventually develop your own style, just like a note-taking. So we're now going to how you do the opening, body, and conclusion of your evaluation. Opening, how to start an evaluation. An opening doesn't have to be long. Its function is for you to link the opening to the body. Just like if you do an evaluation and you just go straight on stage and here are the good points. First, second, third. It is quite abrupt. So you need to say something to help you link to the body part. Just like you also need a proper opening when you are doing your prepared speech. It's the same. Okay. So first, you can talk about your first impression of the speech. Like, it made me feel curious, or I suddenly found that it is a speech that would certainly be interesting. You can review a small part that touches you the most. Review a small part of the speech. Or you can do the briefing, 大纲摘要. But notice that don't make it too long, because your time is limited and the speaker already do his speech. So you are doing the briefing, but you are not doing the speech for him or her again. So make it short. Yeah, if you want to do 大纲摘要, make it short. Or you can apply, I don't know how to translate this in English. You can apply the 梗 in the speech into your evaluation. What does that mean? You repeat something special in the speech into your evaluation. So you will link the speaker to you. So for example, if okay, Martin Martin again. Just an example, okay? If Martin talk about he is an otaku, that's I know you are. He is an otaku, and how he conquered his desire to stay in front of the computer and step out and attend many, many activities. So, for my evaluation, I can say that Martin, the active otaku. Yeah, so I link the otaku into my evaluation. So here are the example of the points above. You can say, I'm really touched by Joy's story, especially the part that he struggles with this decision of future career, because it is exactly the dilemma that many of us have gone through. And this is an example. Body. The body part is the main focus, is the emphasis of your whole evaluation. Here, you may list 3 to 4 good points, 2 to 3 suggestions. Be aware of the time limit. That means you focus on a few points. You don't need to say all the things on your notes out because you don't have that much time. So choose the most important ones to say. And then you may list out like you talk like first, second, third, and then finally. Or you may do it in a composition-like way. You can say, I feel, I suggest, it is said that. You all know how to write composition, right? And here is the most important part. In evaluation, we usually apply the kiss, kick, and kiss method. What is that? For the body part, you kiss, and then you kick. And then for the conclusion, for comforting, you kiss again. It is understandable, right? You kiss them and then you kick them. And to comfort them, you kiss them finally. Yeah. So this is the kick, kiss, kick, and kiss method. Which means you tell the good point first, and then you give some suggestion. And in a conclusion, you review the good points again. So in the body part, what can you talk about? The speech content. You may talk about the type of the speech. For example, if it is a humorous speech, you can talk about whether it creates laughter or not, or whether the audience understands the haha points or not. Haha points. If it's a storytelling, then you can talk about if or not the story flows. Flows means 有起承转合. And or is there a core value? Is there something that you think the speaker wants to tell the audience? And does he or she convey the idea successfully? Did the audience get it? Did the audience get the core value? Structure. Is it well structured? Does it have a clear opening, body, and conclusion? And there are many methods. So this is for you to explore. So here are the examples. It is a speech full of humor, which makes the audience laugh successfully. What's even better is that the listener also learns a life lesson from it. Is it too low for you to see? Is it too low? Speech skills. We just talked about the speech content, right? So we're going to the speech skills. Eye contact. Does the speaker do eye contact? But is the eye contact appropriate one or an inappropriate one? The appropriate one should be he looks at every angle and not too fast. He look at calmly and with very steady pace. The inappropriate one is like looking up and down, or looking really fast that make people dizzy. Yeah. So this is for you to, you can observe it in our meeting on Friday night. Body languages, gestures. Movement. Does it move around the stage? Does it move too fast, too slow, or he didn't move at all? The usage of microphone, because some people would hold the microphone like this, and you talk for all the time, but it would be a little bit uncomfortable to you. And it is suggested that if you take one microphone in hand, the other hand you can do some gestures. And sometimes you can even switch the hand holding microphone. Okay, another example. The speaker makes interaction with the audience by stretching out his hand for his response. To make it even better, I would suggest that he walks around a little bit to avoid always facing the same audience. And then we'll go into the vocal variety. Emotions. When the speakers talk about some part that is really emotional, that he change his tone. Like change it loud, soft, quiet, etc. Dialogues. We like to use dialogues in our speech. But how did the speaker distinguish the dialogue and the description? Like in the dialogue, there will be many characters, right? Did the speaker use different tone to different characters? And can the audience clarify that this is Snow White, this is Queen, and this is Mirror? Or to the audience, they all mix together? This is one that you can evaluate. Visual aids, slides. Does the slide help the speaker or interfere with the speaker? Yeah, is the slides proper? Pictures and props. Sometimes, like the C1 speech in the freshman cup, a speaker named Amy, she talks about afternoon tea, right? So she brings a cup and pretend to drink tea with everyone. That is props. And there are many, many more, like facial expressions, confidence, etc. Notice. Remember to give the good points and suggestions. That is, in the body part, kiss and kick. Oh, finally, we'll go into the conclusion. Conclusion, remember you have to kiss, which is you go into that part. And be clear and precise. Because oftentimes when you go into conclusion, you're about to reach the time limit. So your conclusion has to be clear and precise. Encourage the speaker in this case. And you can start with to sum up, all in all, for conclusion. Finally, the last I want to say is, etc. Here's an example. All in all, it's a speech that tells us that we should not. Oh, this is Martin's speech. Because I evaluated this one. All in all, it's a speech that tells us that we should not believe our intuition. Congratulations for fulfilling your C2. It's an encouragement. A hardworking person like you will certainly keep improving. And that's not an intuition. It is a fact I know you will finally achieve. You can notice that Martin talked about intuition. So I applied intuition into my conclusion too. Yeah, this is also a technique. So, here. So now I would like to take you see the whole structure of my note. Here is the opening. Good points, opening. And body part. A little good point. And now I go into the suggestion. And then here is the conclusion. Good points. So you can see when I read my notes, when I'm doing my evaluation, I just go up and down, and then it's done. How do you give suggestions? How do you give suggestions? I just mentioned that evaluation is not criticizing. So you have to give the suggestions in a polite and appropriate way. So how? First, avoid negative transitional words, like however, but nevertheless. You may be curious, this sounds like we usually use in English conversation, right? But imagine when you're on the stage, you said, "Oh, this is a really good speech. He used rich vocal variety and he moves around, but..." You just eliminate all the good points you just said. So avoid this kind. Avoid strong emotional words like useless, bad, terrible, scary. Yeah, you know the points, right? Don't use this. Instead, you should say friendly suggestions with ways to improve. That is, you point out the problem and you also offer how he or she can improve. First, you point out the weaknesses and you give advice on how it should be done. If possible, you can demonstrate it yourself. But this is an option. If you don't have time, you don't need to. And always give reasons. This is what we often say in evaluation. The speech is fantastic. Over. So why is it fantastic? We don't know. Or the speech is great. But how is it great? You should explain it. So you should always say, this part is really great because I would suggest you to change this part because you give the reasons. And the last one. This is a mistake many experienced members will also make. That is going over time. So I would suggest you that you directly go to the kick part when you see the green board. The green board is the minimum time requirement, which is 2 minutes. Your evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes. So when you see a green board, it means you have only 1 minute left. So whatever you're saying, when you see the green board, you directly go to the kick part. So, a little review of the opening body and conclusion. Opening, first impression, briefing, review, a small part. Or you can apply the special point, the G, into your evaluation. Body, there are content, skills, vocal variety, visual aids, and many, many others. Conclusion, remember to be clear and precise. And for the kick, here, body, you kiss and you kick. And go to the conclusion, you kiss again. So, the kiss, kick, and kiss method. Okay? So now, for a little relaxation, I would like to show you a little video. It is a humorous speech, and the speakers use the material of evaluation. He made evaluation into a humorous speech, and I think it is really fabulous. So here is the script. Because the video is a little noisy, so I think you'll need this one to read. Per person, 2 pages.
Here's the last one.